another good frosty morning. Before I start this video, I do want to thank Route 66 Dispensary in Springfield for my shirt. I love it. I love the way I'm treated there. Amazing staff. They're not sponsoring this video. It's just I did get the shirt from them, and I love the shirt and I love the service. So if you're looking for a good dispensary and you're in the Ozark area, please check out Route 66 Dispensary in Springfield. So the point of this video is my lessons that I'm learning working with the energies of Artemis. So yesterday I had to take my kitten, BP, to the vet for his first checkup. Now remember, BP came to me as a feral kitten only about September 18th. And we're now in November the 4th. So I haven't had him that long. So he hasn't had that long of a time to be exposed to humans and to become less feral. So I was very apprehensive about taking him to the vet and him having to deal with not only a small enclosed area, which he lives outdoors, but also strangers. But he did perfectly fine. He checked out. He's perfectly healthy. Got all of his shots. Bo's good too. Bo got all of his stuff. Everybody got their yearly checkup yesterday. So everybody's doing well. So I'm very happy about that. But the point of this video is, after I got home, something that I learned from working under the energies of Artemis, I always have my eyes open for signs and lessons and messages that come through to me out of nature from living in the center of these woods like I do. So I'm always having my eyes open for any lessons. So yesterday when I got home, BP, was running around doing his normal thing, and I'm outside, tending the rabbits or whatever. So, I'm just standing there, and BP comes up. Now, if you can't handle anything graphic at all, then you might want to switch off this video and just wait for the next one to come out. It's not real graphic, but there's some ickiness to it. Okay, so anyway, for the rest of you, BP comes walking up to me, and he has this cute, adorable chipmunk in his mouth. And I thought for sure the chipmunk was dead. He looked, for all intents and purposes, this chipmunk looked dead. He was no longer fun to play with. He was just dead in BP's mouth. And he was, all leaned back and everything. And I said, just out of reaction, BP, how can you do that? And when I did that, he went to meow at me. And when he opened up his mouth, the chipmunk fell out of his mouth. Well, the chipmunk wasn't dead. He was very much alive and just trying to figure out a way to get away from this predator, right? And so I watched the chipmunk just fall. There was nothing I could do except just stand there and watch. It all happens in a blink of an eye. So the chipmunk falls to the ground, and I thought he would head straight for the woods, but he didn't. He flipped a U-ey and went the other direction, and he went through a fence that I have. I don't know what kind of fencing I can explain it. It's like 3 inches by 2 inches. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, it's a small gauged fence, small-ish. And the chipmunk ran straight through it, and BP going after him. And it's just a wire fence, so it didn't do any damage. All it did was slow him down. And BP's freaking out, trying to figure out how to get him. Meanwhile, it gives the chipmunk a few extra seconds to get away. And then I realized, I thought, that smart little chipmunk, he went that way on purpose. I can't help but feel like that chipmunk knew that fence was going to give him a few extra seconds. Now, people can say, oh, you're crazy. Well, he did. I mean, he went that way. And then he took the cat the long way around through the woods, because the cat eventually figured out it's a fence, and he got up over the fence, and he got, on his trail again. And the chipmunk ran through the woods, and then through a big bunch of trees, a big bunch of laying down trees. He went down and through and under all that. And of course, the kitten couldn't do anything but go over that. So the kitten's still hot on his trail. And then eventually the chipmunk led the kitten around to his den and dove down in his den. So that chipmunk, first of all, he feigned death so that the cat would lose interest. That was his first plan. His second plan was to go the opposite direction of his den and go through a fence. It's almost like the chipmunk knew the kitten couldn't fit through that fence and wasn't smart enough yet to figure out he had to go over the fence. And then his third line of defense was he went through a bunch of trees and then dove down into his den. So like the chipmunk had a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C to escape his predator. I thought all of that was really cool. I thought, wow, I just sat there and witnessed this great message, and I feel like I cannot help but feel like this came from Artemis. What she's trying to tell me is, if you want to survive something, especially this long, dark winter in this camper, you're going to have a backup plan to your backup plan, and then a backup plan to that. You're going to have at least 3 plans in place for everything that you do down here. And I think that's so right on. It's so spot on for me. So I have to deal with a couple of things that anybody else doesn't have to think about. I have to think about water at all times, and I have to think about heat at all times during this winter. So I think what I need to be aware of is that I need a backup plan of where to get water. If I have to, it's icy and snowing and everything, I have to have a backup plan of where to get water. If the local store where I get water from suddenly stops selling, if their machine breaks down or whatever, because I get that reverse osmosis water, what if that machine breaks down and I can't get water from there? And I'm going, oh my gosh, where else do I get water? I have to have a backup plan of another place to get water. And in addition to that, I need a third place to where I can go and get water. I cannot afford to be unprepared down here, not for a day. I mean, if I had to, I suppose I could break ice on my pond and at the very least have water for my animals. I certainly wouldn't want to drink it. So I need to know, where to get water. And I can't say, oh, there's always going to be water on the shelves at stores. No, we've all been through that before, whether you go in the store and there's no water on the shelf. So I can't just rely on that. And then heat. Heat is another thing. So I have to have a heater, a very big, nice space heater here in my camper. What if something happens to that heater? I have to have a backup plan to that heat. And then I need a backup plan to that heat. So that's kind of what I sort of learned yesterday from all of this. So this may not apply to you in your life, except also I think about things like everyday life, like every single day life, like you need a backup plan to your backup plan to your backup plan. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to be prepared. So watching that little chipmunk yesterday, watching the whole interaction between BP and the chipmunk taught me to always have 3 plans in place. And I guess that was a long way around me telling you this story. And a lot of you probably won't be interested in this, but I thought it was absolutely fascinating to me because I am working under the energies of Artemis. And I'm instructed very, very strongly to watch these things and to pay attention to them and to learn from them. So I'm just putting it out there. If you can use that information to have a backup plan to your backup plan to your backup plan, then please, by all means, put that in your life. All right, you guys, love and light. Talk to you soon.